They Play the Game, a show created to discuss the NBA on and off the court. I'm just one of your co-hosts, Michael Eric
And
Owens.
I'm Ken Hayes.
Hey, my brother, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Man, I see we got the memo, man. We both got on blue. You know what I'm saying? You got a little purple going on the hat, but we got the memo out early this
Right.
morning.
Exactly.
So Ken, folks, we gonna get right into it. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, and that notification button. But we want to dive right into this discussion, man. The last time we talked, it was 2-0. Boston went up 3-0. And then they got the brakes beat off of them just yesterday. So, Ken, what has been your assessment of Dallas coming back home, losing game one at home? We know it's game 3, but it was their first game at home. What is your assessment of that?
Mike, when it was at halftime, when they were up 51-50, I said Dallas is not going to win this game. Mm-hmm. Because Boston didn't play well in the first half. And I'm like, Dallas only up by 1. That's not looking good for Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this, and there's been so much to talk about regarding Game 3. Kyrie played much better than in the previous 2 games. You got to give it to him. Came out, just real aggressive. Played it exceptionally. Luka, Mike, he was 11 for 27 with 27 points. I'll take that all day. And I mean all day. I mean 27 shots and 27 points. And let me just keep on what regarding Luka. Didn't play well down the stretch. In that fourth quarter, I'm just like, come on, man. You gotta play better than that. I mean, this is your superstar. Fouled out. You can say if it was a foul or not, or charging, or whatever the case may be. You just don't put yourself in that position. I think that Dallas still has to find somebody else besides Kyrie and Luka to get some production. They have to. I mean, PJ ended up with 13 points, but he was 3 for 9 from the field. You got to find somebody else. And I know they tried to put Hardaway into the game. Seemed like he was trying to get his rhythm going up and down the court, but just couldn't find it. I think he probably only shot maybe 3 or 4 shots. And then down the stretch, like I said, Boston hit some shots some threes that sealed the game, really. I'll say this and then I'll end, is that with Luka, you gotta play. We know there's gonna be some calls that you don't go your way. You can't talk to the refs and not get down on defense. And then the other thing, Boston was just trying to focus on Luka as far as on the defensive end, to find him and just take that action against him. I mean, Luka's not I'm just being honest. He's not on the defensive end. He's just not it. But you try to do whatever you can. But the thing about it is just that down the stretch, he just didn't play well. That's what the bottom line of it. So
Boston took 46 threes.
Right, yeah.
May 17. Ken. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. It's like, it's outrageous, the amount of threes that are almost 50 threes. And what they make? 17. Okay. I'm gonna Roger your point. Luka, sometimes you look at these athletes and you say, have they reached that level? And we talked about this going into this series, right, Ken? This series would have, made Luka in that conversation, right? That he wants to be that MVP, that, top 5 player in the league and all.
Right.
These are the moments.
Right. Exactly.
This is the moment, man. Like, I don't, and for him to be as immature in those moments, man, I'm like, bro, you barking at the referee and they going down and laying it up. I'm like, Luka, are you? And when your team is looking at you as their best player, and you lose your compoise during the game, that affects everyone else. And as you're right, Kyrie's getting off. Kyrie's back. Kyrie figured it out. Okay, it took him a few games to figure out. Okay, how you if you notice, Kyrie is not holding the ball. I mean, his decision making is
It's
on
quicker.
point. As soon as he gets it, either I'm gonna pull on you or I'm going around you and I'm laying up with the left. Okay, Kyrie has already figured out that he can get to the hole anytime he wants to, so he's good. The immaturity of Luka, can I'm saying, like, bro, really? Like, this is the biggest game of your career on the biggest stage. You don't get no bigger stage than this other than the Olympics. I mean, this is huge. This is the most celebrated league around the globe with all the basketball leagues. This is the Cadillac, baby.
Right.
And everybody's looking at you. And what do? You flopping. Like, oh my God, really? It was terrible, man, to see Luka. And I understand he was very frustrated because there was some calls that he did not get early on. I understand that, man. But man, you listen, you just got to, this is it. I'm talking Michael Jackson now. Mike standing up at the mic with the hand sticking out saying, this is it. This so you know what I'm saying, Mike? This is it. You have to perform. And to see that, man, we can't put him at that level. We can't put him at that level. Now, to me, the only thing that redeems Luka is to do what no one has ever done, is come back and win 3 more games and take that championship. Now, if you do that, the narrative changes around you. But if you lose, it's always going to be that game, basically that game 3, the meltdown of Luka in the closing minutes of game 3, man. I just, again, man, I just don't. I mean, Boston's winning, but it's not. It's ugly, man. It's just it's just like, I'm like, how many missed shots do we need to see?
Mike, Tatum and Brown from the 3 was 6 for 23. And they both ended up with 31 or 30 plus. So Tatum with 31, Brown with 30. Come on, man. Tatum was overall, he was 11 out of 26.
Man, we're Brown not looking. This is what I was saying. Now go ahead, Ken. Say what was Brown?
12 for 22.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, we're not looking at, in my opinion, the high level basketball. I mean, even when you look at last year's finals and the Heat won one game, it looked there was more competition. There was more variety of the game than what we're seeing. All we're seeing is 3-pointers, man. I mean, every now and then, Tatum to break you down and drive and try to get to the hole. That lane's been open for Brown. He's been cutting, and that play has been working really well for them, man. But the fact that they just rely so much on the 3, you almost shot 50 threes and made 17. That, to me, that's just unacceptable, man. I don't. Is that where the game's going, Ken? Is that what we're gonna see?
That's all we're gonna see.
On, man. Like
dunks and 3-pointers.
I mean, tell us, folks. Tell us in the comments. Do you like this style of basketball? Do you like this evolution of the game? Because to me, this is one of the the least exciting finals, man, that I have watched in many, many years. And it's not trending in the right direction in my opinion. Ken, I was not shocked. They won game 4. Okay, you're desperate, your back is against the wall. You came out, you have nothing to lose. There's no pressure on you. You're at home. You had a home cooked meal like you talked about. You got up, you kissed the kids, you hugged the wife. You were able to come in, everything was relaxed, and you blew them out. I'm not surprised. That's Boston's DNA. I mean, Boston doesn't. We've been talking about that
Talking about
all
this for
year
all,
long.
yeah.
That's their DNA. But Boston is not that killer team. They're not that team that is going when they have you on the ropes that they're going to throw you over. They don't do that. Boston simply say, "Well, okay, we didn't have it tonight, and we'll just get them back at home." Man, what type of mentality is that, Ken, when you are competing for the NBA championship?
Mike, a listener texted me and said, I heard on one of the, let's just say a sports talk radio show, or, he said that Boston didn't give it their full effort because they wanted to win it at home. I'm like, what? So I kind of heard this kind of the same thing on, on somebody's show, but, kind of really didn't pay too much attention to it. But, if that's your mentality, then that's pretty sad. Let me say this also, Mike. And Brown, Tatum, 25 points between the two of them in game 4. 25 between the two of them. I'm like, come on, man.
Ken, what did we say last show? Where is the outstanding, spectacular player in this series? What did you Ken, quote that again? Quote them numbers again.
25 points between the two of them in game 4. Each played 27 minutes. So, they rested for game 5 now.
Well, that's what Joe does. He throws in the towel, man.
Right.
I have this is a terrible precedence, man. Listen, competition is about competing every time you get on the floor, every time you get on the field, every time you get, I don't care, on the tennis court. Get the pool stick. When you get on the golf, it don't matter. Competitions, you compete, and you don't just, man. Think about that, man. Think about that. Think about the GOAT or Kobe saying, "Okay, we just gonna, we don't have it tonight, so we just gonna win it at home." What?
Right.
Mike said, "No, we going into Utah. I'm bringing one suit. We going into Utah and we winning tonight." You know what I mean? Like, no, this game's no. We're not gonna do no game 7. That's what's lacking, Ken, in the mentality, and we're seeing it now, not just in the players, but in the coach.
Yeah, Mike. Let me say this: is that, oh man, I'm gonna say in 1985. Remember the Memorial Day massacre between Boston and LA? I think the Lakers lost by, I think, almost 34, somewhere, let's just say 30 plus. This was the same thing, Mike. And the thing about it is that Boston really just gave up. Didn't seem like they were too enthused about playing last night. So they said, hey, let's pack it in. Let's go. We're going home. We're going to take it right there. And I just, I'm watching the game. I'm looking at it like, you're not going to, it was almost comparable. Remember when Boston played Milwaukee during the season?
Oh yeah.
And I don't
and
even
they threw
think
the towel in.
Right.
Yeah,
and the starters didn't even start in the second half.
Oh yeah.
I only think right. They just said, we're done. So I'm like, come on, man.
Man, that's why it's hard for me. That's why it's hard for me to respect the Boston Celtics, man. Because I haven't seen a team that when they are just in dire straits that they dig down deep in and say, no, this is our game. I haven't seen it. I've seen them say, okay, we'll fight another day. That's what I've seen Boston do. And guess what? You go back. What happened to Tatum last year? The first play of the game, he twisted his ankle, remember, against Miami?
You're right. Mm-hmm.
So what if you go back home and boom, something happens? Knock on wood. I don't want anything to happen to them brothers. But what if you go back and something happens? Boom. You can't say what you gonna do tomorrow. You got to take care of your business today, bro. That's in the good book. Okay.
Right.
It's Sunday, but that's in the good book, ain't it?
Well, let me.
you know what I mean? Take care of your business today. So what I'm saying is, man, it's hard, Ken. This has been a rough finals for me, man. Because I do not believe Dallas can come back and win 3 straight. And it's for the reason you pointed out clearly. The only reason why they won the last game is because they had Derrick Jones stepped up. Okay, you had the others step up, right? They're not gonna do that in Boston. They're not gonna do that in Boston, man. So when they go back to Boston, it's gonna be over with. And to me, I'm not saying if anybody should have thrown the game, it should have been Dallas, because you at home. You lose, your fans ain't gonna be talking crazy to you. They gonna be thanking you for a great season. You be able to go home and cry in your significant other's arms. You know what I'm saying? But in Boston, they gonna clown you.
Right.
They gonna clown you in Boston, right? And so you're gonna be on the long plane ride back, soaking, mad and upset. You should have just did it at home, and you could just went to the crib and Ken and just escaped all that madness. But stranger things have happened. It's never been done, but we know that nothing's impossible. Things happen, but I don't see the support group. I see Luka playing. I see Kyrie playing. I do not see the supporting cast showing up in Boston and making the difference, because it's only going to get interesting if they can win the next game.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I don't see. I mean, role players play better at home, so the chance of Dallas winning the next game is going to be tough to impossible, as far as I'm concerned. This series should have been over last night, as far as the way I look at it, because you got to. I mean, you got them on the ropes to to bring out the broom, and you just let that go by. So I mean, the NBA season should have been over. But we see how Boston. I'll say their mentality. I won't say culture. I'll say mentality. That hey, we gonna let this ride on, because we're gonna take our starters out and kind of give up, as far as I'm concerned.
I just don't understand it, man. Pride in the game. This idea of competing and being the best you can be each and every time you get out on the court, and these excuses that people make, for these players when they don't compete. It wasn't our night. Ken, I hate when I hear that. Well, it just wasn't our night, man. The game of basketball is more than scoring.
Oh yeah.
There's rebounding,
Definitely.
there's steals, right. there's transition offense, there's assists, there's more to the game of basketball. And usually when you hear players say this wasn't our night, that translates, we just wasn't in shots. And I think it's a terrible precedent, man, that the NBA product. Again, if we're thinking this, don't you think others are thinking this?
Oh man, Mike. I won't say I hear it every day, but I hear it, from people that I talk to, friends, family, family members. We talk about the game and everything, and they just the effort that you on a nightly basis, you want to see more. On a level from 1 to 10, it may be at let's just say, be nice, 7, but you want it at a 10. Then a lot of people complain that you don't see the intensity until the playoffs.
Exactly. You and we're not even seeing that.
Right.
I mean, let's think about we seeing that in some games and other games,
Excuse me.
and I have to be thinking, Ken, if I'm in the West Coast, if I'm Jokic or I'm Murray, or I'm Ant Man, I'm KD. I'm looking at and saying, this is the best we producing this year from the West. It's like we about to almost got swept. Like, this is the best in the West. And we know all year long what conference was considered the best conference.
Oh yeah.
It's the Western Conference. But you're going to get to the championship and you can't compete? What does that say about the conference, man? Like, and this year has been such a strange year, Ken. Let's be honest. With the injuries,
Right.
with Embiid being out, with Giannis not playing in the playoffs, Dame being half hurt, Jimmy Butler being out.
Hurt. Yeah.
I mean, Donovan Mitchell missing time, Jared Allen being out. And you see this. That's why I say the Celtics this year, you better get that championship, because your road to the seat was easy. You didn't.
It was an easy path.
It was easy. It was an easy path, man. If anyone had got that number one seed and stayed healthy, I will give again, where's Porzingis?
Stop.
See, go back to when we heard about the trade. What did I say? And what did you say?
Yeah.
Now, if they were playing Denver,
this would be a different story. This would be, yeah.
If I would say, Ken, I'm gonna go as far as to say this, and this might be blasphemy. Folks might get mad at me when I say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. They would be in trouble if they were playing LA right now.
Ooh, Mike, why you say that?
Because what I'm saying, LeBron, listen, when LeBron get there, he know what time it is. If you I don't care what the Lakers record is, if you let them boys get there in season tournament, you let them get there. The problem, you got to keep the king from getting there, because if he get there, he want to get another jewel in the crown. And so it would not have been, Boston still might have won, but I'm gonna tell you like this: you were not going to do LA like you did Dallas. That's just not gonna happen, man. AD and LeBron was not. They're not going to tolerate that. And so when we look at Dallas, man, I'm like, bro, the folks you came through.
I know, exactly. Right.
What? Yo, and I'm speaking for the role players now. You should have had all confidence in the world. The teams you came through, and you're here, and it's just like, you don't deserve to be here.
Let me just add this, or ask you this question. So do you think the role players may have, in, let's just say, first, second round, got comfortable in the playoffs, intensity kind of picked up each round by round. Now we in this finals. I haven't been here before. So now I'm a little, let's just say, hesitant. I'm gonna sit back and watch Luke and Kyrie do their thing, take us to, let's just say, to the fourth quarter, and maybe be this role player by maybe not scoring, let's just say rebounds or assists, doing let's just say, the dirty work. But as far as that shot falling, I just haven't seen it with the role players.
Yeah, Ken, I think some of it is just the stage is too big.
Okay.
But I also think for most athletes, there is a ceiling. And I think those role players have hit their ceiling. And I think if they can get back and get this experience again, they will look at how they prepared themselves for this moment. Not knowing what the moment's like, how can you prepare yourself for it? Like, this is another gear, another level, right? Like, the playoffs are another level. The finals, the conference finals are another level, and the finals itself is another level. And I think for young players and for those who have not experienced that before, that's why we see experienced teams. How many times have Boston been there and didn't win it? You see,
Quite a few. Right.
yeah. What is this, like the third time that Jason Tatum, third or fourth time they've been been to the conference finals,
right,
and been to the championship, right? They've
a year.
lost a couple. Yeah. So what I'm saying is they have went through that sort of understanding what it takes
That
to be there, to perform, right? You know what the expectations are, and that's part of Dallas' problem. You thought Kyrie could have somehow prepared them and helped them because he's a champion. And I'm
Right.
sure he did as best as he could with communicating that, but it's nothing like going through it.
Exactly.
And so I just think they have reached their ceiling. Like there's no, like, Derrick Jones can't go higher. Like he's got to figure that thing out over the summer. When he comes back. That's what PJ's got to figure out. Lively, he's so young. He's a rookie. I'm impressed with Lively, man. I got to be honest with you.
Right. I am too. Yeah.
And I think he needs, I don't know why Cleaver, Maxey is getting time, man. I just don't you have two dudes down there that work hard, man, that run the floor, that chase the rim. And Maxey Cleaver, I'm just thinking, like, Jason, what's up? And I must, and Ken, I'm gonna admit it because I'm a man of my word. I believe Jason Kidd had done a great job the last series.
Mm-hmm.
But like you have pointed out, the deficiencies in his coaching ability, they have shown up in this series completely. I think they have been completely outcoached. The first 3 games, they were just, his rotations were not there. Luka was on the bench when Boston was making runs, and that game 3 when they just blew him out. I was just like, why is Luka on the bench, bro? You called a timeout to stop the run, and he was on the bench, and you didn't put him in. And for him for Luka to get 6 fouls, man, come on, man. For your best player to foul out in a game that you need.
And I think 4 of the fouls were in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. Okay. So to me, give Joe Mazzulla credit, although sometimes it's hard for me to give Joe. When I look at all them threes, man, I'm just like, what type of strategy is that? I will say, when Boston moves the ball, it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
it is beautiful. It's beautiful, man. That is when I see Boston move the ball. And in that one play that they have where they move it from side to side, and Jalen cuts and he catches that on the run and he rises up, man, that's beautiful, man. It's just like, dude, like, but no, that's not what they want to stick to. They just want to drive and kick in 3. You know what I mean? So, but clearly Kidd has been challenged in this series. I just don't believe Dallas has enough to beat the Boston Celtics 3 more games in a row.
It's not happening.
Okay. So, the celebration is going to happen on Monday. And in Boston, and if for some reason, some strange happen and they win, then the series will get interesting. But up until this point, it has been pretty boring. Okay, it's just, I don't know what else to say, Ken. It hasn't been high level competition, and we ain't seen no overtime. We ain't seen no last minute shot. We ain't seen no back and forth. We ain't seen none of that. One team has been pretty much dominating most of the series, and Dallas was able to dominate. And again, Joe Mazzulla threw in the white flag. Folks, what do you think? What do you think that Boston just said, whatever, we just not our night, and we just do it at home? What are your thoughts regarding that? Ken, last words, my brother. So we both figure it's going to be over come Monday in Boston. What is your last word?
So the champagne will be flowing, Mike.
In the cigars.
Right. Put on your goggles.
Put on your goggles first. Yeah, folks, you heard it here. And why they play the game. You know, the world of sports unites us. Let us therefore take this unity into our everyday life. This is why they play the game.